Okay, you're welcome once again, and this is the section 5 in our module 1 of our project management professional training and certification program. And I want to congratulate you on your excellent progress so far. In this section, we're going to be discussing foundational elements. All right, what are those foundational elements in project management that you have to know as a project manager while starting out your project? All right, so these foundational elements are very essential, but we're going to be exploring them, all right, so that you can have them at the tip of your fingers, because they will determine the success of your project. All right, these foundational elements actually serve as building blocks, all right, and they contribute to the overall success of any project in any industry. All right, so without further ado, let's dive in. All right, now talking about the foundation elements in project management, first let's look at a definition of what these elements are. Foundational elements has to do with the fundamental principles and factors that are essential for effective project management. So these are principles. When you hear foundation, they're actually principles. All right, or when we talk about foundational elements, you know we are talking about principles in project management. All right, there are principles and there are also factors. All right, and they are essential for effective project management. Okay, so understanding and applying these elements contributes to the success of your project. That's why we're discussing them, so that you can understand them, not just understanding them and having them in your knowledge repository, but you have to be able to apply them because they contribute to the success of your project. Okay, so as a project leader, let's talk about leadership. Now, another important aspect of this is leadership. As a project manager, you are a leader. All right, you're leading the project, you're leading an endeavor, you're leading people, you're coordinating people. All right, so you cannot talk about project management without talking about leadership. We actually call it project leadership because you are the one leading the project, you are driving the project. All right, so effective project management starts with strong leadership, and that is very important. So you're providing leadership, okay, for this to take place. A project manager must inspire and guide the team. Are you saying that now? Provide clear direction and foster a collaborative and motivated environment. So as a project leader, you're providing inspiration, you're providing guidance for your team, all right, as well as the stakeholders. You're providing a clear direction. Okay, this is what we need to do, this is where we need to go. That's leadership. All right, and then you're fostering a collaborative environment. You have to get everyone on board. All right, there is no isolation of anyone, there is no lone ranging here. All right, it's a collaborative work. Project management is a teamwork, so you have to be a collaborator, be the one that connects everyone, brings everyone together, and then be able to motivate everyone. You create that motivating environment where everyone is charged up, all right, to actually do what is necessary for the success of your project. So this is very important. Project management is actually project leadership. So as a project manager, you're providing leadership, strong leadership, to get the needful done for the success of your project. Now, in continuing, let's look at stakeholder engagement. So as a leader, one of the things you have to do is engaging your stakeholders. All right, like I mentioned before, stakeholders are, people that are involved in your project. They could be customers, they could be your team members, they could be regulatory agencies, so people who are involved in carrying on the project, providing inputs for the project, and who are also going to be benefiting one way or the other from the project. Talking about the clients or the customers now. All right, so engaging stakeholders throughout the life cycle of your project is vital for their buy-in and support. So you need to be able to engage them, all right, so that you can have their buy-in. In other words, you can have their cooperation, all right, and you can have their support. We'll talk more about this in the knowledge areas. We'll be discussing the knowledge areas, especially in stakeholder management. All right. Now, understanding the needs of your stakeholders and their expectations help to ensure project success. Okay. So let's look at team dynamics. Building and managing a cohesive project team is crucial. Now, as a project leader, you're leading a team, so you have to understand team dynamics, all right, how to bring the team together and cohesion, okay, building them together to ensure that they work together. This is a very critical skill for a project manager. Team dynamics influence collaboration, communication, and productivity, directly impacting project outcomes. Okay, so it's very important you understand team dynamics and to be able to influence collaboration. All right. Now, also, you have to be able to set clear objectives. All right, as the project leader, you need to set clear objectives. Now, defining clear and measurable project objectives provide a sense of direction and purpose for your team members, for your stakeholders. All right, so you give them a clear sense of direction and purpose as far as the project is concerned. Well-defined objectives help guide decision making and resource allocation. So when you have your objective put in place and aligned and well defined, it helps you to be able to make decisions properly, and then also allocate resources efficiently. All right, and this is a very, very critical area for the project manager. Efficient resource allocation, that is very important. Okay, now we also have scope management. Now, these are all foundational elements, all right, that we're talking about. These are the foundational elements, in project management. So you have scope management, and this has to do with managing project scope in order to ensure that the project stays focused and delivering the intended outcome. All right, scope management has to do with focusing the project on the right things. All right, the things it was actually meant to do. All right, so you're not trying to do different things that are unrelated with the project objective or the requirements of the stakeholders. So you need to be focused on what's important to deliver the expected outcome. So that's in a nutshell scope management, but we're also going to look at that in more detail when we're dealing with project scope management. All right, it involves defining, validating, and controlling the project scope. So in a nutshell, that's what scope management is. All right, defining, validating, and controlling the scope of the project. Okay, but we'll look at that in more details later on. All right, another foundational element is risk management. All right, now this has to do with identifying and managing risks. Okay, Now, this is very essential for minimizing potential issues and uncertainties that could impact the project's success. Okay, so you will always have risks in your project. What are risks? Risk is anything that tries to impede or limit the project, right, or its outcome. Do you understand? So risk management is a very essential activity that you have to do in fact throughout the life cycle of your project. Okay, now another element is change management. Projects often encounter changes that require proper handling and adaptation. So from time to time, you're going to realize that there are certain changes that need to be made at one point or the other during the life cycle of your project. So that's why we're talking about change management. You can't just, come up from the blues and just make any change in your project. There has to be a process, and that process is called change management. Okay, so this has to be handled properly. You understand? All right, otherwise things could go wrong. Change management involves assessing, approving, and implementing changes effectively. So before you implement any change or effect any change, you have to do an assessment. What is going to be the impact of this change? The impact on costs, the impact on the time, the duration of the project, all right, the impact on the end users, all right, or the stakeholders. So you have to be able to assess this, and you have to be able to get approval. You have to get approval. You have to get buy-in. All right. The change you want to make has to be accepted by the stakeholders. All right, and also they have to be aware of the consequences of the changes, especially the sponsors or the sponsoring organization or whoever is responsible for the funding. All right, if the change is going to impact on the costs, which means you're going to need more funding, they have to know, they have to have a buy-in. Do you understand? So you don't encounter problems. All right, so that's why change management is a very important aspect of your project execution. All right, so let's look at some key takeaways from this section. Firstly, you've been able to understand the significance of foundational elements in project management success. Also, you've been able to recognize the importance of strong leadership. We talked about leadership, right? Stakeholder management and team dynamics. Very important. We've also been able to appreciate the value of setting clear project objectives and effective scope, risk, and also change management. Okay, now applying these elements to enhance project outcome and delivery, right, is very essential. So you now know the foundational elements. You need to be able to apply them to have a successful project outcome and delivery. Okay, so at this point I will say congratulations on mastering the foundational elements of project management. Okay, so in the next section we're going to be exploring projects and the importance of project management. All right, and this will help to deepen our understanding of the project fundamentals. Okay, so keep up the great work and let's continue our journey towards becoming proficient project managers. All right, so that's all for this section and this class. So I'll see you in the next class. Bye for now.